Okay, so I don't really know where to start with this one. I normally do lives on Facebook. I've been meaning to try a live on Instagram, but I definitely didn't want to do it with this. I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a couple of weeks now. And I feel like I've been kind of, I guess you can say, burying it down, trying to hold it in. But I felt really off the last couple of weeks. And I couldn't quite understand why. Like I've been feeling, I have a little Sharky going on here. Oh well. I didn't understand why. I've been doing really great. I've been good with my Plexus. I've been off of my antidepressants now for about a month. Now, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily, depression at all. I think it's just an off feeling. And we get those from time to time. So I'm not worried about it. But I do know that I need to get it out before it gets worse. It's better to talk about it, air it out. And I haven't really reached out to talk to anybody about it. I know I tell people to always reach out to me and talk to me whenever. But it's a little different when it's yourself. I don't want to feel like a burden. I definitely don't want a pity party. It's just something that I think I will feel better about if I get it out into the open. Let the universe take it. I feel like that might be some weight off of my shoulders. What I'm talking about is, some of you know, I got pregnant with Luke last year, and it was around this time that we were having our first ultrasounds and whatnot. And on, I think it was April, no. March 2nd. Let me see the dates here. I kind of have them all mixed up in my head. And I know that it's because this is all around that time. So it was March 2nd when we had our first ultrasound. And it was a really big shock because one, for those of you who don't know, I struggle with infertility, and I actually needed doctor intervention with getting pregnant with Leah. I was on Clomid. We did about 6 rounds of Clomid before I got pregnant the first time. That one ended up being blighted ovum. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's you get pregnant. The egg attaches to the uterus, but unfortunately the fetus doesn't grow. So your body still thinks it's pregnant, but there's no heartbeat. That was our first time getting pregnant. Second time getting pregnant, very similar situation. Except for it looked like we were a little bit further on, but by the time we had an ultrasound, no heartbeat. Both times I chose to miscarry naturally. I didn't want to take any pills or anything. I figured if it didn't happen naturally within a week or so, then I could probably go in and get a DNC, which I was really not wanting to do, but I was able to miscarry at home on my own. I felt like that was a little bit more intimate, and that I would be able to handle it better without having, people around poking you and whatnot. I just didn't want it. So decided to not continue with the Clomid. I just needed a break, mentally, physically. I was tired of doing temperature checks and everything that goes along with trying to get pregnant and checking ovulation. And I'm not sure, like when I'm thinking back about it, I'm not sure I ever remember a time where I was fully positive that I ovulated, even with the tests and stuff. But, we ended up getting pregnant a few times. So took a break, decided no more Clomid, no more doctors, no more nothing. Kevin and I took a little break, a little mini vacay to El Paso. We went and stayed out there to go to the Garth Brooks concert. I remember this. And, just to get away, he and I kind of focus on us again and kind of get our minds back on track and try to heal together. And came back from that trip. Little did we know, conceived Leah, El Paso, hotel room, fun stuff. And that was on our own. But that was because the Clomid had jump-started my body and started making it ovulate on its own, which I had never done before. So, the story, I'll have to talk about the story with Leah one day and how traumatizing that pregnancy was, and having her at 30 weeks, and she was 2 pounds, 6 ounces. So we'll go over that another day. But, when we were ready to try again last year for another baby, I called my doctor. Had already been on Plexus for a couple of months. Called my doctor and left a message because it was late in the afternoon and I had forgotten to call her earlier, and said, hey, we're ready to try again. If you can send in a prescription of Clomid, we're going to go that route again and see what happens. Maybe I can start ovulating on my own again. Little did I know I was ovulating on my own already, and I was already pregnant. So that Sunday, I took a pregnancy test just to make sure before I started any medication and whatnot. Although I honestly don't know why I took that test, but thank goodness I did. We were pregnant, found out February 16th. We were pregnant. I was extremely exhausted in the beginning. Pretty sick. I did stop taking my Plexus. I didn't know at the time that it was safe to take during pregnancy. I think any woman who finds out that she's pregnant pretty much stops everything other than just eating crackers and maybe ginger ale. But I called my doctor, said, we don't need the Clomid anymore. We're pregnant on our own. And saying that out loud was really odd. Really odd for me. So, she did the normal things, sent me in for some blood tests, check my HCG, the pregnancy hormone, which in the past I've had problems with where it doesn't necessarily rise like it should, and that's how we knew we had problems in the beginning with the first 2 miscarriages. This time around, it was going up, seemed normal. It didn't seem like more than usual, or more than normally, or other women. And so everything seemed on track. Scheduled an ultrasound. We went to our first ultrasound on March 2nd. And to our surprise, we saw that baby A and baby B. And see how it's a little misshapen there. They were a little concerned about that, but not as concerned in a way to make us really concerned about it. It was something that they kind of just mentioned that we were going to kind of watch. I remember this day. I remember going in and Kevin was sitting right next to me. This was before they had shut everything down. Thank God he was able to go to the first couple of ultrasounds with me. And they said, kind of, rolling around, and I saw one baby egg sac and then saw another one. And I thought, well, maybe she went over the same part, and she did it again, saw it again. And I asked her, I said, well, what is that? And she tells me, looks like it's another baby. And I just remember feeling complete shock. And the first thing I said was, I have ovarian cysts. Are you sure it's not just a big cyst? And she laughed. She said, no, I'm sure it's another baby. So they had to look inside the sac because it kind of seemed like the baby was kind of hiding in there. And she was finally able to get a picture with them. I don't know if you can see that. Little yolk sac is what they call it. And she saw it with baby A, although it's not really showing on here too much, but she was able to see baby A, which is now my little Luke. There he is. And it was still too early on, so we didn't hear heartbeats yet. It was kind of nerve-wracking because we had been there before where you go in, there's nothing, they say come back. We'll see if there's a heartbeat next week or in the next 2 weeks, and longest wait of your life. We went back on March 12th, my best friend's birthday. I remember that day too. And we got to see baby A's heartbeat. And then at first we couldn't find baby B's heartbeat. And she had pretty much already told us, I'm so sorry. There's nothing there. And after the first appointment, I remember leaving there shocked, laughing, hysterical. Kevin was over the moon. I was panicking. I just didn't know how we were going to be able to do it with twins. I didn't know where twins had come from. They weren't in my family. Kevin has a couple of twins, but everything that I was reading online says that it comes from the mother's side. But I don't know. There was just so many questions, so much to panic about. Money, house, we don't have enough house, we don't have enough stuff, we don't have anything. And I feel really guilty about thinking that way at first. I didn't know, but I feel guilty about it now, and I think that's what's really bothering me. But when she told us that there wasn't a heartbeat for baby B, I was actually really sad, because I feel like I finally, within that couple of weeks or that 10 days, I was able to kind of wrap my mind around what was happening. I had reached out to my very close friends, and they were telling me that it's such a blessing. I had wanted kids for so long, and I was going to have 2. And I remember thinking, like, you know what? That's very true. There was nothing more that I wanted than to be a mom. And being told that you're never going to have kids from being diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome to having a miracle baby and then getting pregnant on your own after so many people telling you that it's not possible. It's a roller coaster of emotions. And then to hear that you're going to have 2, like, naturally on your own, no medications, no doctors, no IVF, nothing, just on your own. And so she kept rolling around. She saw that I was upset. I did cry. Or I started getting teary-eyed. And I looked over at Kevin, and I can see it in his face. He was sad too. But she went back over, and she goes, wait, I think I see him. He's in there. It's very hard to tell, but he's right in there. I say he, I don't know. And then she was able to get heartbeat on him. And that was the best sound ever. And so we had 2 heartbeats going. Started panicking again a little bit. But it was a good panic this time. It was a good excited panic. And because everything was still so new, and I have a history of miscarriages, and I'm high risk, and I have a couple of medical conditions. They wanted me back in right away. And so scheduled another ultrasound. This time it was on April 2nd. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was cleaning my room and I found these, and so this made sense when I found it, why I've been feeling this way. And I knew I was sad about it. I didn't realize how sad I was about it. So April 2nd, a month after finding out that we were having twins, I go back for an ultrasound. Because at this point, everything's shut down from the pandemic. Kevin's not allowed to go with me to the ultrasounds. And so I have to go alone, thinking everything's great. We've already heard the heartbeats. I'm feeling good, considering, but very nauseous at that point. My hormones were a little off. And go in, and baby B doesn't have a heartbeat anymore. That was really hard to hear, but it was worse because I was alone. Kevin wasn't there with me. But I feel like I finally wrapped my mind around it. I was coming up with plans. I was excited. We can, we have stuff from Leah. We can use that stuff and just buy it one other set, and we'll have things, and we can move eventually to have more space. And we told Landon that we were having twins. I feel really bad because we shouldn't have told him that early on, because that was hard to explain to him. How you lose one baby and not the other. I don't think kids understand even losing a baby, but that was confusing to him. We had told our parents at that point that they were going to be grandparents again, and we were going to have twins. And come to find out, Kevin's mom was telling me that that they believed that he was supposed to be a twin too. And I kept asking different family members if we had twins in the family, trying to figure it out. But that day, we didn't have to worry about it anymore, because we lost baby B. But I'm forever grateful that we still have our baby A, Luke. Oh God, he's so cute. I know I'm his mom and I'm biased, but he's freaking adorable. And yeah, so that was really hard. I called Kevin from the parking lot and told him, and I cried all the way home. And I got home. And then my OBGYN called me, because she knows that I've been dealing with this. She's amazing. And she called me and she was just like, I'm so sorry. And I wish I could hug you. And even the poor ultrasound tech. She was like, I'm a hugger. I want to hug you so bad, but it was COVID and everything was so new, and we were just even bugged just wearing masks at that time, and the fact that I couldn't take my husband in with me. And I came home and I started thinking, with a miscarriage, how does that work? Because a miscarriage, you go home, you miscarry at home, You bleed, you're done. That's that. How does it work when you have twins? I mean, you don't want your uterus to bleed because then, you run the risk of losing the other baby. Or I didn't know how that worked, so I had to ask my OBGYN. And she had explained to me that basically when you lose one of the twins when it's that early on, they just stay in there, and eventually they just kind of shrink. And I hate that word shrivel, but they shrink and eventually dissolve. And it goes into your bloodstream. So Luke will always have his twin with him, and I will always carry him with me. So he's still in my blood. And I say he because I don't know. I have a feeling that it was two boys. Even when we were trying to do sorry, I'm shaking. I get really cold when I'm crying. I don't know why. But I have a feeling that it was going to be two boys because I wanted a girl so bad. It was going to be two boys. I know it. Two of them running around. When we did the blood test to try to find out the sex of the baby, and to find out what Luke was going to be, they had let me know that it's not guaranteed because of my weird situation, because I still had the DNA from the other baby in there. So, if it came back as a girl, then that meant that both of them would have been girls, because there was no male blood in my system. But if it came back with God, I never know these. Is it Y chromosome for boys? If it comes back with a Y chromosome or whatever for male, then that could have been two things. It could be that we still had a girl and the one that we lost was a boy, or it could be the other one was a girl. I guess it could have been three things. The other one was a girl and we still had a boy, or they were both boys. So there were so many unknowns with that. And of course, it left us with so many questions unanswered because it came back with a Y, or male chromosome. And we were just thankful to hear that there wasn't any other birth defects that we needed to be aware of at that time. But I was still, gosh, I was so sad. Because at that point, that's when I felt like it was two boys. It was going to be our two little rugrats running around. And so I had to wait. And we did an ultrasound about 20 weeks. And he would not open his legs. He's stubborn like his dad. I don't know what to tell you. And I think we finally found out about 21 weeks and 6 days, around that part where he just wouldn't close his legs at that point. He was proud and he was showing it. And then from that point on, he always kept his legs open to show that he was still a boy, because I kept asking to make sure that he was a boy because I wanted a girl so bad. I'm so thankful that I didn't get another girl. I love him. But he would always cover his face. He wouldn't let us see his face, but he was showing us his junk all the time. But I think I just feel guilty for not immediately knowing how blessed I would have been to be able to have that. And I think it's hitting hard more now as well, because not only because it's been a year and it's bringing back a lot of memories, but because I know Kevin and I were talking that Luke is going to be our last baby. And that makes me really sad because I love babies. If I could, gosh, I would have 20 of them. I'd have 20 babies by now, if I could. And although this last pregnancy was easier and I felt better, my body is just not made for it. Between having to be on blood thinners and getting blood clots every time I have a C-section and not being able to have Luke naturally or vaginally because he had a big head, which I'm still walking funny from because his head was stuck down there for the last month. But I would have so many kids if I could. If I could carry them with no issues and not being high risk and having to go to the doctors every 2 weeks to be seen either with ultrasounds or OBGYNs or gestational diabetes or this or that. I can't imagine how rough that pregnancy would have been on me had it not been for Plexus. Like, I can't even imagine how. And in fact, it was pretty rough there in the beginning because I stopped it. I stopped taking it, but I was so nauseous and throwing up, and it was just because of the extra hormones that were in there with the twins that I had. I took all the Plexus supplements to my OBGYN, and I was like, look, this is the only time I ever felt good. Please tell me I can take these because I've heard that they're safe for pregnancy, but I need you to tell me that they're safe for pregnancy. And she looked at the ingredients and she said, Chrissy, I can't put my name on it. I can't say that I'm recommending this, but I can tell you that the ingredients are safe enough to take during pregnancy if you want to take them. That is your decision. They are safe enough. They're not harmful. If you feel better, then do what you need to do for you. And so I did. I started taking my pink drink. This was probably about 10 weeks, maybe 9 weeks, that I started taking Plexus again, and I started feeling better, and I wasn't throwing up anything or everything. I was able to keep food down. I was able to keep water down, which was I was so very thankful for. And I had already started losing weight at that point, which, I mean, nobody was complaining about, right? But I just needed to make sure that I didn't lose it too fast from being sick and not getting enough nutrients to the baby or babies at that time. But that's just what's been on my mind lately. I didn't want to do a live. I didn't want to have any distractions. I didn't want to have a pity party. I didn't want anybody to be messaging me during or commenting during and saying that they're sorry. And I know I have friends and family that are really close that are always there for me, and I appreciate you guys more than you know. But I feel like I just needed to get this out there without interruption. Just put it out into the universe. Even if I don't post this video, which I'm still kind of debating about, at least I'll have it out, and I know what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And that is half the battle, when you're trying to push things aside or saying, that's not it, that's not what I'm thinking about. I feel like it makes it worse. You're just stuffing things away for it to explode later, and I don't want that. I've done that before. I've dealt with my depression and anxiety. I have a long, long history of it, and I don't want to, I'm not ready for a therapist again. Every time I go or I try to see a therapist, I feel like I get 10 times worse. And I know that's probably part of the healing process, but I feel like it causes PTSD. And because they're always trying to get to the root of everything, and so they make you live all of your traumas when it just may be one at that time triggering something, and they want to go back through all your history and everything that you've ever dealt with, and I don't want to. I've moved past that. So I'm trying to move past this on my own, and I feel like talking about it is better than seeing a therapist. I don't want to feel judged. I don't want to feel I don't know. I just don't want to see a therapist. That's what I know. If you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's gonna take some time to get over it fully. I definitely have better days than not. But I've been bored again at home with pandemic, and so I'm kind of redecorating my room and going through some things, and I found ultrasound pictures, and kind of this light bulb went up over my head, and I was like, that's what I've been feeling. That, and it was my grandma Becky's birthday yesterday, and I've been missing her. I was thinking about when I went to France while she was sick. She passed away while I was gone, and I didn't get to make it to her funeral. I actually didn't know about it. I was upset at the time, but I understand why my family did that. I know that they didn't want me to leave a good experience to rush back home. I did get to see her before I left, and I had a feeling. So told her I loved her, but I feel like that's been kind of it too. I've been missing her. I've been missing my grandpa, my nana. I'm talking about her the other day when we did Leah's curlers. How she used to do the sheet curls on me. Just I think that pandemic, being stuck inside, need a little break. I think I'm not in a huge rush to find work at the moment, being a little bit more selective. I don't want to settle on something this time. But I think I also need to find something, some sort of work to kind of feel like I'm getting a little bit of a break from home, a little bit of the outside world. I want to come into the out again. But I already feel a little bit better just from talking about it, going over the details, talking about how I felt with certain things. But yeah, if you're feeling anything, especially now during the pandemic, I feel so bad for so many people dealing with mental illness. Oh, God, I wish I could afford Plexus for everybody and just hand it out. I'd be throwing it like Oprah. I'm just throwing it out to everyone. I feel like it really, really helps get to the root cause, not just cover it up, not just like another medication, happy pills. I'm so glad I'm done with those pills. But yeah, if you are dealing with something, reach out to someone, talk, do a video like I did, get it out into the universe, just get it out of yourself, like that way you're not stuffing it inside, like we tend to do, because we don't want to feel like we're being a burden or getting a pity party, like I keep saying. But talk to someone, talk to anyone, talk out loud. I'm here for anybody that needs to talk. And I appreciate those who have been there for me as well. So if you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a good night. Bye.